Hello and welcome to Stir Crazy Arts Classes with Gerald Savine, lesson number 26. We will be looking back at number 14 here because remember we got number 14 out of order and that was the one we just done. Can we just look back, just as a finishing off here? Can you see I've taken away the pencil marks of the actual drawing of the stool, but can you understand better now? If you half close your eyes you can see the darks, the shapes that are being created by the legs of the seat of the stool, and that's the sort of effect you want to land up with. You don't have to colour it in, but if it helps you can do. Okay, but now we're going to do some painting. Oh, at last, back to doing a bit of painting. Now what I do with the classes, I've cut out two big squares of card and I've cut a hole in the middle. Like that's a square, and I'll cut a hole in the middle of one and done exactly the same size hole in the second piece of card, and I've put them, crossed them over, and I've stand them up in the middle of the room and people can then sit around and draw them. Now obviously we can't do that here, so what I've already done is I've drawn them. I hope you can see that there is a hole of this piece of card here and the rest of the piece of card there. They're joined together in here, and this is the second piece of card with a big hole here, and there's the outside, and again you can't see the far side of that. So this here is totally a hollow space, a bit like the spaces we saw with the between the legs of the stool. But it's also, can you see how shapes are being created here? How this has become a shape, although that and that are part of the same piece of card and that are the same piece of card, they've been separated by that. But also, can you see how, because of the perspective, they've the card themselves have got an outside shape. Now what I do here is, and what we're going to do is, I'm going to, and I've left my one of my rulers at the studio, so I can't do this now. What I go around is between the outside edges of the when the people have drawn them, I go round with a ruler and I go to the furthest points, and here again those are already there, so that's fine, and I just join those up. So what we're going to do is just to help emphasize that shapes can be coloured up and create spaces. So now what we can do is I've got some colours going here. I've got a mix. You can do whatever you want. There's no just have a bit of fun. Splosh the colour about. Again, I would suggest that you start off with the lightest colour first. I've got a bit of burnt sienna. I've got alizarin crimson, a purple lake, ultramarine blue, and also a bit of Payne's grey as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, there's 6. There's another one there. 2, 4. No, that's sorry. I've gone and done one twice. So we've got these colours here to work with. So I'm going to start off now. And again, it doesn't matter what you do here. Just splosh the colour. Some people have used, I've noticed, just use 2 or 3 colours, and they manage to create a nice, colourful painting. The big thing here is we do not have one colour the same as another around. So every shape has got to, including the spaces in here, have to be painted. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to just paint up here. I'll just try and do it fairly quickly. So as ever, the time goes. But again, you have more time than I've got, so you can take your time. Hopefully you can stop the video earlier on so that you can see how to and draw the lines, to draw the shapes. Perhaps you could even cut some paper card out yourself. you do the shapes, the two pieces exactly the same size of hole in the middle, and then you can then join them together. So we've got that. Now I'm not going to paint that one the same or there. I'm going to paint that different colours. So I'm going to wash the brush out. I'm going to pick up a bit of what would go nice with that. That's I think I'm going to do a bit of purple lake next. So again, that sort of nice colour here. Now this is going to be quite a big chunk here. So we've got a nice big chunk of colour going in. Now again, unfortunately, I'm having to work quicker. You can take your time over doing this. But again, you can come up here. You can do whatever colours you like. It's not. Now, what to be careful here is I'm going to have to perhaps hold back a little bit for the moment because I don't want this colour to run into this. Because normally I would be working on a fairly flat surface, not at an angle. So again, I made a mistake just now. Really, I shouldn't have been doing this one. I should have been doing another one. Just watching the time. I don't know how we're doing with time. My timekeeper will be watching that. 8 minutes. Oh, there we go. Because a bit of chatting going on there as well. Just while we're doing this, just to say that in case we run out of time, next project is going to be a painting. We're going to be doing a landscape painting, well, a seascape painting of the Needles on the Isle of Wight, looking down from the top of the cliff down and then we get the sea in the background. So a bit opportunity to learn how to paint the sea, I hope. My reputation depends on that because one of the things I'm known for is doing marine paintings. So I shouldn't have too much excuse of how to tell you how to do paintings of the sea. I'm not going to go right up for the moment, up to there. I'm just going to leave that. Now, what I'm going to do now is, let's have a look. I'm going to put in the middle, I think. I'm going to, if I go with the red, alizarin crimson. I'm afraid, well, I've chosen quite a lot of dark colours here. Perhaps I should have been a bit wiser and chosen a mix of lights and darks. But again, choose your own favourite colours. Now, there we go. But bearing in mind that this really, in reality, is just air, is space. It's not the card we're painting here, but it really demonstrates that the shapes that are created by solids create negative spaces, but negative spaces are important. Now I'm going to have to be very, very quick. I'm not sure I'm going to get very much more of this done. My time controller will tell me in a moment. Oh, so I've got 6 minutes left, so I'm going to have a quick go. Now again, I'm going to let that to dry, and now I'm going to paint this area here. I'm going to put it blue, but I'm going to thin it right down this time so it's not quite so heavy colour. So I'm just mixing some water in with the blues that thin it down, take it down, take it down. And again, I'm going to just be a bit careful here because again, I must be careful not to let the colour bleed with the other colours that are there. And hopefully that's dry enough now not to bleed. Now again, if you're careful enough, you have more time, you'll better do a better laying down of colour than I've done here. What I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to be very, very quick. It's amazing how quickly time goes. I'm going to have to risk, I'm afraid, colours blending in, I think. Got 5 minutes on this, good, that's not so bad. I have to say, when I've been doing this with my classes, we've had some really nice patterns coming up and nice little bits of paintings are surprising. Something like this is quite simple, but it's creates quite, because also the reality is that now what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to use, I think, the burnt sienna, which again I'm going to now thin right down so it's lighter, and it's going to go in between the red and the purple lake. I haven't chosen very good colours here. You think, not a very artistic arrangement this, but I'm trying to get over the point that objects create spaces of light in between, and they are as important. Sorry, you can see it's got a bled there. Unfortunate. Please forgive me, and I hope you will do a better job than that. Allow time in between painting the things. Now I'm going to take the life into my hands here because the red is going to run down in the middle. I'm going to, if I touch that there, it'll just bleed like mad. But hopefully you'll get the idea. Now I'm going to put a different colour. I'm going to go with the red there, but again I'll just thin that down a bit. Actually, no, I won't. Change my mind. I've actually got a bit of Payne's grey here. I'll say that like that because everybody loves Payne's grey. Look at that. Now you can see how, as I put more water in, you can see how that's such a dark colour. And again, because of time, I'm not being very tidy, I'm afraid. That's not how I usually work. By the way, just out of interest, if you wanted to contact me about anything, you can email me on Gerald Savine at btconnect.com. That will come through to my studio, or our studio, should I say, in Upton-on-Severn. And I'm going to leave a bit of space between those two for the moment, because it's just going to run like mad. But can you just begin to see, I can even leave this one white in fact, but can you see how, oh look at the mess, how the colours run. But can you sort of get some idea that if you tidy here, you get a nice sharp edge. But you know, the objects, solid objects, create shapes. That's again particularly here, but again these ones here, you know, they are actually solids of this one, but that shape's being created by this piece of solid here. So that's how you need to try and see the shapes, and it will help you get the things right. Get you the positions between one thing and another, as we did with the bottles. Hopefully you've picked that up on that. But look around you. Everything creates a shape in relation to other things. I'm looking at things across the counter over there. And when you start looking, you'll notice more and more and more. And it really helps you see things around you. And it's amazing, again, as I've always said before, how it opens up your eyes. It's one of the big advantages about learning to paint and draw, is your world around you will be open up to you. So I'll leave it for that now. And say next week, next Tuesday, we'll get underway with a painting of the sea.